Awesome. I'm going to go right to it. I see that our our new speaker stepping in, Anat Peri, whom, if you had an opportunity to be here the last summit that we had, she completely rocked the stage. We're so happy that you're able to come back and share more with us and to more people. I also want to do a shout out to all the people that are dialing in by and listening in by social, and to our viewers on the Women's Channel. Thank you so much. So Anat, welcome back to the Stand Out, Speak Up, and Show Up Yes You. If you didn't just get that from Michelle, you're going to get it with Anat.
Awesome, Deb. Thanks for having me. Yeah, excited to
Absolutely,
be here.
absolutely. Well, look, let me introduce you properly in case people have not and do not know you yet. Anat is an inner child expert. She is a TEDx speaker, and she's a mentor to coaches and healers. Her topic that she's going to be talking about today is how to live an inspired life by cleaning up your past. Woo,
Mhm.
that's a powerful statement, right? Let's do it. The thing that you may not know about her is that if she can eat it from a bowl and a spoon, it's in there. Like whatever she's eating, if you can put it in a bowl and spoon, that's what she's doing. And the music that she's listening to is Holloway. And girl, I know that you sent me a text. I didn't get back to it because I was engulfed with speaker land. Can you please tell everybody what your gift is going to be for everyone that you're going to be putting into the chat? And then that one special gift, that one lucky person is going to listen to win today.
Yeah, so my gift to everyone is my Cultivating Safety Breathwork and Somatic Practice. It's a guided audio. It's about 17 minutes, 12 of it is guided, 5 minutes, the rest are just for you to be with yourself and the music guided that way. And as you'll hear through my talk today, like it's so important for all of us to know more and more how to create safety, how to cultivate safety within ourselves so that we can handle the ups and downs of life better. And this audio has been so helpful to all the people that have been using it in the past few years. And I know everyone here would find it valuable to help you create more of that safety.
Awesome. And one special person, and if you are not familiar with how we play this, and I'm sure you are by now, that you're going to listen to us have a conversation. I'm going to pull something from that. I don't know what, but you're going to listen to win. You're going to put your email, the answer in the chat after we ask who wants to win. And what is that person going to get, Annette?
They're going to get a one-on-one 90-minute session with me, which is
Woo!
a $500 value. So I've been doing this a long time. You get in the room with me one-on-one, get ready to go deep. I have 4 planets in Scorpio, so I'm not messing around.
4 planets in Scorpio, and she too likes Janet Jobson. Okay, Janice Joplin. Let's get right to it. So, what? Like, let's talk about the topic that you have here. Why is it that someone who can feel inspired, they're feeling groovy, they feel like they've got some things going on, and they're living the good life, can still feel stuck or still be stuck?
Yeah, so you can be deeply inspired and still feel stuck because inspiration happens in one part of you, but safety has to happen in the body. So a lot of people have had moments where they feel clear, they know what they're inspired by. They maybe they went to a retreat or they heard a podcast or they read a book. They had the insight, they had the breakthrough, and they even wrote the vision and they said, "This is it. I'm ready. I'm going to do it." And then they go home and nothing really happens. Who can relate to that? Or they change for a week and then old patterns come up. Now, this is not because they're lazy and this is not because they don't want it badly enough. It's because the nervous system is wired for what's familiar, not freedom, but familiarity. So if visibility, for example, feels unsafe, then you could be inspired to share your voice and still hide. If love feels unsafe, you could be inspired to have a healthy relationship and still choose the unavailable partner. If receiving feels unsafe, you could be inspired to make more money and still sabotage all the opportunities. And so, this is why mindset alone does not work. You cannot affirm your way into life. If your body does not feel safe yet, you have to work with the part of you and learn what was not safe in the first place. And this is where the real transformation happens.
Wow. All right. Um, so we talk a lot about inspiration, and you have your own perspective on the relationship between inspiration and freedom, right? So
Um,
the relationship between inspiration and freedom.
oh yeah, yeah. So to me, inspiration is the spark, but freedom is the embodiment. So inspiration is the moment when your soul says, there's more for me. But freedom is when your body no longer contracts around that quote unquote more. So it's a very different thing. A lot of people are inspired by freedom, but they're still loyal to the patterns that keep them bound, that keep them stuck. So they want the freedom, but they're addicted to getting approval. Or they want the freedom, but they're terrified of disappointing people. They want the freedom, but they keep choosing familiar pain over unknown possibility. They want the freedom, but their nervous system still equates being fully expressed with danger. So the relationship between inspiration and freedom is inspiration opens the door to what your heart really desires. Healing is what allows you to walk through it. And freedom is not just doing whatever you want. Freedom is being able to respond from choice instead of reacting from your past. It's being able to say no without collapsing. It's being able to say yes without abandoning yourself. It's being able to be seen without needing to put on a show and perform. It's being able to receive love without pushing it away. It's being able to make money without feeling guilty about it. So you could actually hold it. It's being able to lead without needing anyone to approve of the choices that you're making. That's freedom. So it's not just an external life, it's more of an internal capacity. It's building that capacity.
I was going to ask you, and maybe you've just defined it for us, and if you have, great, and if not, if there's something that you want to add, because when we talk about how to live an inspired life by cleaning up your past, I think people are like, so what does cleaning up look like? Is it I go to a retreat? Is it I go to a session? Is it I listen to meditation? How does one do that?
I'll go a little deeper than even the how. It's like, what does it actually mean to clean up your past is to stop dragging old pains into the present moment and calling it your truth. So it does not mean that you erase what happens, and it doesn't mean that you blame someone like your parents. It does not mean that you stay in the story forever. It means that you become aware of what you learned, what you absorbed from that, what you copied, or what you rebelled against, and what your body started to believe was necessary for love or safety. So, for example, maybe you had a mother who was emotionally overwhelmed, and so you learned not to have needs. Or maybe you had a father that was super critical, so you learned to perform and get everything right. Or you grew up in a home where emotions were not safe to express. So now as an adult, the second things get vulnerable, you disconnect and you intellectualize everything. And so the love may be inconsistent. So now calm love feels boring and chaos feels like chemistry. So cleaning up the past means that we bring those patterns into our awareness, but we don't just stop here. Awareness is just the beginning of it. Then we have to accept what's actually here, what's actually happening. We have to feel the emotions that never got to move through from having, dad be critical or mom constantly be so overwhelmed that she couldn't hold you herself. And we have to learn to reparent the younger part of us that still lets that get in the way, lets that old way get in the way, and then integrating that into a new behavior. So healing is not just understanding the past. It's when we bring that present behavior and create the change because your body no longer believes that the old pattern is the only way to survive it.
So, how does someone know if they're living from the past? How does someone know if they're living from the past? Or I would imagine when you talk to people, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, sometimes maybe there's a dance between the two.
It's one way to know if you're living from the past is that your reaction is bigger than the actual moment. So the moment is small, but your body feels flooded by it. I mean, how many times do we see this happen in partnership where your partner says something and then your reaction, and they're like, whoa, 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 where did that come from? How did you get so triggered by that? That's one way to see it, or someone doesn't text you back and you suddenly feel abandoned because they didn't text you back. Or someone gives feedback to you and you feel like you're failing. Or someone sets a boundary with you and you suddenly feel rejected by that. So, these are usually the signs that the past has entered the room. Another sign is repetition. If you keep having the same experience with different people, different jobs, different partners, different opportunities, there's probably a pattern here. The common denominator, you. The past repeats until it's brought into the awareness, then felt, and then integrated differently. So living from the past often sounds like I have to prove myself, or I can't trust anyone, or I have to do it alone, or I'm too much, or I'm not enough. Or if I was honest, if I'm honest, I'll be rejected. If I slow down, everything might fall apart. Now, living from the present feels different. Actually feels more spacious. There's still emotion in it, but there is also choice, meaning you can slow things down. You can be present. You can pause. You can feel. You can ask, what is actually true right now? You can respond instead of reacting. You can notice the younger part of you without letting that part drive the car. So you can notice that, oh, like my system, and how quickly you can regulate back to your higher self. That's the difference. The past will usually say, protect yourself. It comes from survival. The present says, let me check what is actually happening and what I want to do.
Hmm, that's good. Well, you're good. What becomes possible? Like, what becomes possible when you no longer live from the past? I know that you just described some of what it feels like, but
Mhm. Mhm.
you know
Yeah,
by that question. We've talked.
yeah, everything that used to feel impossible starts to become available. Like you literally won't recognize yourself. And not because life becomes perfect, but because you're no longer using all of the energy to protect yourself from the old pain. I really don't think people are aware of how much more energy it takes to resist or to try and analyze and figure something out. What happens is that you're more able to hear your intuition, to trust your desires. You can choose relationships from alignment instead of that fear, that attachment. You can be visible without needing to perform. You can lead without shrinking. You can receive more without sabotaging it. And one of my favorite ones that I'd say is one that I overcame is you could tell the truth faster. I used to be a people pleaser. Who can relate? And so now to like have a voice and actually speak my truth. I remember when that first started happening and I'm like, who's that? Who's she? Where'd she come from? And, you can make decisions as an adult instead of a wounded child. I remember experiencing that too, and how I used to collapse and actually feel like a 5-year-old in arguments with a former boyfriend of mine. And I'd be like, wow, I feel like I'm 5 years old right now. The way that like my body feels and the way that I'm crying and engaging with him in this. So to be able to show up more as that adult self. And I think that where life becomes deeply inspiring is that inspiration is no longer just a feeling that you chase. It actually becomes how you live. Like you are living an inspired life. You're moved from something that's real inside of you. And at the same time, you feel this inner safety to actually go for it, to follow it. That's what becomes possible. You stop asking, what's wrong with me? And you start asking, what's possible now? that I'm no longer abandoning myself. That was one of mine. That's a completely different life.
Abandoning yourself. I think that is really interesting because there is so much conversation around that. There is so much conversation around that, and that when you're sitting there talking to other people in business or friendship or whatever, they'll be like, I did what I didn't want to.
Hmm.
Or with this person, I can say no, but this person I can't. Or the fear of survival will come up, and people will make decisions based on what if instead of what is, right? That's,
Yeah. And it all comes from this inability to feel safe. Now, you guys know why I'm giving you the cultivating safety audio, so that we
mhm.
could all learn to feel through the discomfort that's happening in our system and find familiarity and stability in that, to then speak up, to have that voice, to not abandon ourselves, to be true to ourselves, to be inspired and follow what our heart really desires instead of collapsing into the panic.
Well, we have a couple of minutes left. I don't know how you would like to use them. My question would to be, because not a lot of the people that were here were also at the March Summit, and I don't know how many people know you. Maybe give us a little insight on how this came into your life. I mean, you've talked about this used to be, this used to be, this used to be, and now, you're a master practitioner that teaches people that are practitioners.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the few minutes that we have, darling, if you can just kind of give us some insight on how that happened for you.
Yeah, it happened through, my own personal journey. I'm, in my mid 40s now, so I started out in my mid 20s, and who I was back then is someone that was very codependent. I mean, not only people pleasing, but the idea of being alone, of spending time by myself at home, created so much anxiety in my system. It felt like a black hole that could never be filled. If anyone can relate to that feeling, I've had many people say that could relate to that emptiness. And I embarked on my own self-development journey, really with my mom. First event we ever did, workshop we ever did, was together to try and know how to better be mother and daughter. And I spent my first 8 years around different developmental work. And back then, a lot of it that was available to us, because we didn't have summits and podcasts and Instagram, a lot of it back then was mindset work and NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, which is valuable, but it's all the mind. It's part of the equation, but it left out the body. It left out the nervous system. It left the part of where we get to learn to feel the sensations that create that panic and not feeling safe. And so 8 years in, I became someone that had a lot of awareness, a ton of awareness, but very little changed in my life. I was still in codependent relationships. I still didn't love myself, didn't have the courage to go for what I really wanted, was working all kinds of odd jobs. I mean, a completely different life. And it wasn't until I hit my rock bottom and left my life in New York and moved to California with $2,000 to my name, no job, no car, one girlfriend here, that I started to embark on other things, other modalities, and really started to go into the deeper work and discover inner child work and learn all this stuff and learn about the nervous system and actually experience a transformation is not a walk in the park on a beautiful sunny day, meaning it's not just about the awareness, the aha moments. Like some of you listening now have had some aha moments. That's great, but that's just the starting point. And transformation is really a walk through a burning forest and there's dragons to slay, meaning you're going to have to feel shit that you never wanted to feel. And it's going to be uncomfortable because what's familiar is comfortable. What's unfamiliar is not comfortable. And that doesn't mean necessarily good or bad. It's just whatever you grew up with. And so finally moving through that and learning to heal and reparent myself for the first time in my life 12 years ago, I experienced that inner peace, that inner freedom, that ability to go for the things that I've wanted to, that inspiration to actually go for it. And I always wanted to coach. but I didn't believe in myself to start my own business. And then a year later, I did. I started uh, my business now, Training Camp for the Soul. It's been 11 years and it's just continued to evolve for me, just coaching others to me now mentoring others in my own methodology.
Beautiful. Well, look at someone's going to win some time with you, and we're all going to appreciate that meditation. Absolutely. So let's do some love and some hearts and some jazz hands and all of the things that we do to show appreciation while we're not allowed to open our mic.